Welcome to part 2 of our cabinet making video series. I'm Phil from Woodsmith, and in today's video what I'm going to do is transform this pile of project parts into a variety of cabinet cases. I'm working on a laundry room upgrade with a variety of storage solutions that I need to be able to make the most of that space. So what I'm going to do today is talk to you about using Kreg pocket hole jigs in order to create strong and sturdy cabinet cases and how to get the most out of those jigs. So let's get started. For the first part, I'm going to be starting with the smaller 3 upper cases for my project. And I have a stack of the tops and bottoms here. And that's where I'm going to be drilling pocket holes through so that the tops and bottoms will join into the sides with the pocket hole screws. To do this, I'm working with 2 jigs primarily, just to show you how they work. I have the Kreg 720 and also the 520. In use, it's about the same, but there are a couple of differences that I want to highlight here. The first is on the 720, when I set a piece in place and lower the handle here, it not only clamps the piece to the jig, but it also sets the drilling block at the appropriate location for the thickness of the material that I'm working with. On the 520, there's a hand clamp here that does the same thing. I'll squeeze it a couple of times to lock it in place. What I'll need to do in addition to that is set the drill block here based on the thickness. So you can see that I have it set already for 3/4 inch material, which is perfect for this plywood that I have. The other component for the jigs is the bit here. On the bit, you'll need to make sure to set the stop to match the thickness of the material as well. Now the bits come with laser engraved markings on it, and I have this one set for 3/4 inch material as well. Now when you're working with assembling cases, the more screws that you can put in, the stronger the connection is going to be. So what I'm going to do on these pieces is I will drill 1 pocket hole along each edge, and then I'll center the piece on the drill block and drill 2 more, so 4 screws on each end. Then I'll just flip the piece end for end, drill another set of 4 holes, and work my way through all the tops and bottoms and get us ready for assembly. When we're dealing with the lower cases, we're working with much larger panels, and one of the big things that you need to be concerned about is supporting those workpieces. Now here are a set of bottoms and tops for some of the other cabinets that I have. Now on the 720, there are little flip out wings that support larger pieces so that when you have them set in place and locked down, neither the jig nor the workpiece is going to rock or move on you while you're working. But both the 720 and the 520 have another feature that allows you to work with larger panels without a lot of muscling around on those pieces. You can flip the jig 90 degrees so that it's upright. Now slide the piece in place, and when you lock it down, you can drill from a horizontal position so that it's much easier to move the pieces around. You're basically just moving the jig. On the 520, it works about the same way. You can just slide it in place, clamp it down, and start drilling. On these pieces, because they're wider, I'm going to do a similar hole pattern, but I'm going to add a couple of holes. I'll do 2 holes along each edge, another pair in the middle, and then another pair on the opposite side, and that's going to give us plenty of strength for these cabinets. We're to the exciting part of the project here, where we're turning our individual case parts into completed and assembled cases. I'm working with one of the small upper cabinet pieces that I have here. So what I'm going to do to join them together using the pocket holes is I'm going to get the pieces the way they're supposed to be aligned, and then to hold them in place while I drive the screws, I'm going to use a clamp just bring the clamp just to snug the parts together. Then with a mallet, I'm gonna tap the pieces until they're flush. When everything's lined up, then I can draw the clamp in tight. Now I can start driving the screws on both ends, as many as I can get access to. Once those are driven, I'll pull the clamp away and drive the remaining screws. This process works pretty much the same way for the larger lower cabinets. The only difference here is that after you're done driving the screws into the bottom panel, the top part is not a separate panel. It's just two narrower cleats that have a pair of screws in each end. That'll help support the countertop that's going to get added on later. Now on the large wardrobe cabinet that I have, I'm going to put a fixed shelf in there. For that, I cut 2 pieces of MDF to use as spacers. That way the shelf is lined up exactly where it needs to be while I drive the screws from the shelf into the sides of the wardrobe. Assembling cabinets with pocket screws goes quick and easy, so that in just a few minutes I can take those pile aparts and end up with quite a few cabinet boxes that are ready for their face frames.